You mentioned support groups and close friends, your daughters. Demi Moore, hard turn here, but apparently she's been there for the birth of every single one of your children. I mean, we're just curious to know.
She has helped deliver every one of my babies. Like literally, I mean, hands, I mean, not to get too graphic, but
oh, get graphic.
She has fundamentally has helped deliver all of my babies. And I love how supportive she is, her friendship, her love, her unconditional love has been so meaningful and has meant so much to me. And she's one of the first people who watched the documentary and now has been helping me give birth to sharing it with the world. And I love her so much.
How did you two first come into each other's orbits? I mean, obviously growing up.
It's so wild. We go way back. My godmom knew her in Idaho, and then we actually reconnected then. We connected at the Planet Hollywood opening in Florida, which that was a wild weekend, as you see in the documentary.
Yeah. We love a wild weekend.
There was a lot going on. And then years later, we met again. And so just our roads and paths kept coming together.
We are absolutely obsessed with Kid 90. I mean, you are completely opening up your world and your life to us. Talk about how this is sort of the blueprint for your life and really just a coming of age story.
Oh, it's been the most incredible journey. I really feel like the teenager in me had left this chronological blueprint for me to find my way home, you know, and it was like opening Pandora's box. And in opening Pandora's box, I discovered true self-love, which has been one of the most incredible experiences, the most incredible experience of my entire life.
Wow, that's what it is all about, the self-love. I love that you're sharing that journey with these audiences. What age did you originally pick up that camcorder and start documenting? Because I'm just like, what?
So I started writing in a diary at 5 years old, and then I got an audio recorder at 12 years old, and then a video camera as a teenager. And then I just documented the entire world around me.
Okay, and it spans from what age to what age on video for the people who are going to be watching?
So the videos, I think they span like tween years all the way to 20.
Okay.
So tween to like 19, 20.
Okay, 20 to 19, got it. And I mean, you are really just not holding back in this thing. You are partying, you're living your life. Talk to me a little bit about the ways in which the doc does not hold back. I mean, we see you out there doing the shrooms and the grass and this. Like, okay, she's having a good time.
I did have a little bit of an experimenting time in my life. I mean, like youth, there was such innocence within our group, and it was so amazing because the friends that I grew up with were really authentic, true friends. We had so much fun, and then as I entered my teen years, there was a little bit of experimenting going on, and I felt like in being truly authentic to the experience and who I am, I needed to share, the wild times too, because there were some wild times.
Yeah. And look, we can all, to be clear, relate to that. We all have our wild times. So I love that you were open about that. Speaking of the friends that you had, the people that you encountered in those days, so many fun cameos. Talk to me about that adorable clip of little baby Leonardo DiCaprio in the credits where he's teasing you about documenting his growth. I mean, what do you remember about hanging out with Leo back in the day?
I love Leo. I have so much love for him, and he's always been such a light in life and so charismatic, and I'm so blessed. The first person I showed the documentary to was Sean, who has been such an inspiration to me. And he told Leo about it. And then Leo introduced me to the incredible Jennifer Davison and Philip at Appian Way. And that has been a dream come true and just feels full spiral, in the coming together. And I just remember all of us having so much joy and fun and holidays together and celebrating really joyful occasions. And there was a group of us that were just genuine friends, and those friendships have continued on. And to have the support of so many of those amazing people in my life now, the way I did then is really a true honor and joy. And I'm just in deep, humble gratitude.
Yes, no, that's absolutely beautiful. I got to ask Leo, did you know he was going to be that famous back then? Did people just feel it, or was everyone like, whoa, okay, DiCaprio?
Let's put it this way. He is truly one of the most charismatic people in the universe. So his charisma just illuminates everything around him. And you know what? I have to say his humanitarian, his on the humanitarian side, like he's so incredible, and so yeah, I just could gush about him all day.
He's doing important work for sure. You had a crush on one of the biggest 80s stars, Charlie Sheen, for years. What originally attracted you to Charlie?
I mean, you are not holding back. I love it. Let's see. I'm sure it goes back to Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I don't even know as far back as I can remember, And I mean, I was crushed out on a lot of 80s folks. And yeah, he was definitely one of them.
Definitely one of them. You allude in the documentary, obviously, to sharing intimate time with Charlie and those feelings for him. What about this moment made you feel like, you know what, this is the time to share some of these stories, to be so honest and open?
I felt like I had tried to make the documentary about everyone but me. It was never my intention to set out to make a documentary that was about me. And as the years went on and I peeled back the onion, it became very much this personal coming of age story of both the teen me and adult me. And I felt like it was incredibly important to be honest in that. And I can only speak to my experiences and my stories, and in the diaries and what I found through the diaries was this really sweet story. And my experience with him was really positive. And after having some other experiences that were not so positive, it was really the first person that I wanted to hang out with for days afterwards. And so again, I could only go off of what was there and what was written. And when I read the diaries, it actually was even sweeter than I could have remembered. And so that's what I shared, which was my truth and my personal experience. And I can't speak to anyone else's experiences. I can only speak to my experience.
And the bravery that comes with speaking your truth, period, for anyone, let alone some of the things that you've lived through, that you've talked about. You very bravely opened up about your experience with sexual assault. And I'm curious to know, was there hesitation? How hard was it maybe to relive those memories? Because certainly through your transparency, people who have been through similar situations will feel empowered.
It was, again, never my intention to make a documentary that was about me. And as I was peeling back to my core and discovering these memories that I'd really just locked away, and some in which I'm still trying to put together, because there's parts that I don't always remember of certain, situations, I felt like it was really important to show what was there in the blueprint, and also for me, it was about forgiving the little girl inside who felt, responsible in some way, or shame, the things that I had just locked away, and feeling like I needed to lock it all away for all of those years. And so it wasn't about the who's and what's. It was really about me finding forgiveness inside of myself, and also from my experience that I look at life and the love and the pain and the joy and every moment, and each moment has brought me to right here, right now. And so I feel that the culmination of my life experiences have happened for me and not to me. And I can only speak to my experience, but that is where I find so much self-love. And the fact that I get to have these conversations with my daughters, that I hope in some way when people watch this, they're watching it through their own lens. if it makes somebody feel not so alone, or has someone reach out for help or support,
Yeah.
then it's all been worth it.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, and that's, I think everyone's experience is different. I can only speak to my experiences.
Mhm. You mentioned, wanting to forgive that younger girl, which breaks my heart to hear, right? Because, oh God, the last thing, you're about to make me cry, honestly. But is it safe to say that you've forgiven that young Soleil?
Oh, I wrap my angel wings around the little girl inside and tell her that it's all going to be all right. It's going to be better than all right. You are going to make it through, and you're going to be stronger than ever. And I thank that little girl, and you're going to make me cry, which the 15-year-old that leaves the letter to her adult self, who says, "Who are you today? You know, have you made your life worthy?" It's as if we are wrapping our wings around each other, both the adult me and the teen me, and that they've come together. And I'm so grateful for her.
Okay, I love it. And lastly, you talk about self-image and really stepping into your own, the fact that you struggled with that. I cannot imagine growing up on the world stage and dealing with what we all dealt with in junior high or high school, but the world's watching. What was that like for you? What has that helped you sort of, how has that helped you approach conversations with your daughters? There was some Punky Brewster. Is it true that people would call you?
Oh yeah, I got Punky Brewster like all the time, and definitely, older men that would treat me more like an adult, and it was this wild thing because I was a little girl, and then once I started developing, it was wild because the world around me treated me so differently. And really looking at the objectification of youth and that time and what I was going through, and then seeing how magnified it is today with social media and through these filters. And I feel so much for young people today because the same thing is happening, magnified by the world of the media at their fingertips. And so I think it's a really important conversation that we have both at home and in the media, because if one kid is wearing a tank top and is not developed, and another is wearing the same tank top and is developed, then immediately that kid can so often be objectified. And what is that imprint that it leaves? I think it's really important to discuss that one size doesn't fit all. And for us as human beings, as parents, as media, to hold a sense of responsibility in how we have this conversation. And I'm really excited that people are starting to talk about it more. And I think we have to continue having this conversation so that young people don't feel so alone as they are going through this and having such dark thoughts that I know are happening in the same way that they did when I was a teenager.
Yeah, and you're so right.
5 times a million.
Exacerbated, right, with all of the social media content. But it is certainly, it goes without saying that you sharing your stories and your experiences does help, at the very least, to make someone feel a little more seen or understood, because we all relate to so much of what is touched on in Kid 90. So it's an amazing film. Congratulations on it. Wishing you all the best. Really enjoyed my conversation with you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time to watch it. And I'm sending you so much love. Mwah.
Back at you. Mwah, mwah.